had no idea about the industry. I was doing completely something else at the time, but I just wanted to learn. My journey, first of all, is quite long. Basically, I was curious about the industry. The motivation I had behind was basically helping the customer. So I've been seeing everything from a customer perspective. I dedicated most of my time, I would say 90% of my time, to this. And I felt scared that I may not be able to, let's say, cope up with it. My private life has been extremely impacted by this journey. I had days when I was spending 20 hours per day learning, doing something, going somewhere. I asked myself the question, can this thing get better? Can I do it? I let myself go with the flow.
Hi, Niky. Thank you so much for coming to the Life of Founders. How's it going?
Hi, Max. Thank you for having me. Everything is going well. I hope on your side as well.
All good. Thank you. Thank you for asking. And very much thank you for spending your time with me today. You're based in London. You're coming from Romania. So you are an expat in somehow. Although we are in Europe and UK is not here. Although there is Brexit, UK is still Europe. The Life of Founder, it's an intro into your life. More about the people behind the venture than the startup itself. So, as we start, would you like to give me an intro into your life, who you are, where you come from, and how it all started?
So my name is Niky Achivei. I come from Romania originally. Although I lived in many countries before I moved to London in 2020. I'm the founder of Blyncc, so we are building a B2B blockchain ecosystem for cross-border payments.
As you decided to be an entrepreneur, what was the motivation behind it? Why you got such a complicated task?
So my journey, first of all, is quite long. For me, was not a decision. It was more like I was moving with the flow. Basically, I was curious about the industry. I was curious why people and companies lose money for currency exchange when they do cross-border payments. So in a way that people are losing and institutions are winning. I had no idea about the industry. I was doing completely something else at the time, but I just wanted to learn. I was curious. So I was downloading all sorts of reports online. I was taking advice from many entrepreneurs, from many people in the industry, even long time in the industry. And I asked myself the question, can this thing get better? Can I do it? Well, obviously, I had no idea that I will ever become an entrepreneur in this industry. So, like I said, I let myself go with the flow. From curiosity, discovery, and learning, I said I will try. So that's how I end up here after after such a long time.
How difficult is starting a venture without knowing at all the industry? That's very exceptional.
The motivation I had behind was basically helping the customer. So I've been seeing everything from a customer perspective. And because of that, for me was easy in a way because I knew what I want as a customer. So if you know that, you do other kind of researches, you do other kind of talks, and you take other kind of advices than somebody that comes from the industry. I was seeing the things completely from another perspective. And to answer your question, that has been extremely difficult because I never felt understood, because I had to struggle a lot to to understand. Basically, I was doing a school into this sector, in fintech sector. Has been very tough, but and challenging, but in the same time very exciting. That's how everything began.
What was starting a venture without knowing the industry is very exceptional. As I said before, it's very challenging. Be a founder itself, it's extremely challenging, but you put something on top of it. So, chapeau. What was the feeling when you went with the flow? So that's a process that is not going to start. Okay, tomorrow I'm going to kick off my career as an entrepreneur. You do it step by step. But during this period, what was the feeling? Did you feel scared, excited? I don't know.
I felt scared all the time. And I felt scared that I may not be able to, let's say, cope up with it. In the same time, obviously, I was very excited because this was something completely new for me. Completely new. I had no idea about the industry in general. Yeah, I had extremely tough times, especially the first at the very beginning. Everybody was rejecting me. Nobody even wanted to listen to me, and I was freezing. For example, I was talking with an investor, and he was asking me, "What is your background?" Well, my background in fintech was almost equivalent to zero. So the rejection, I think, was the toughest part I had to go through from the beginning on. But yeah, I must say it was as well very fun because I met a lot of very interesting people. Without this journey, I would have never been invited or been at the events I've been at, or traveled the countries I've been traveling into, or talk with specific important people. That was a mix. The feelings I felt during my journey was a mix of everything. Was excitement, was a lot of fear, was a lot of disappointment, was a lot of how am I going to go through this, or how am I going to finish? Will I ever finish? Will I ever do this? It was a mix of everything, and in the same time was a lot of fun as well.
Fear is there. There is nothing to do. Any founder, even when you have such a huge knowledge in the industry, doesn't mean you're going to succeed. And fear is there. There is nothing to do. But except be rejected by investors. What were the other struggles? The technology. Where do you really phone me? It requires so much time now.
So I had all the no's possible. I was a solo founder. I was a female. I did not have the background in the industry, and it was completely new for me. So it was everything from the beginning on, quite of an impossible journey for me.
But you are not only a founder, you have your private life. Okay. So when startups are created, founders, they become very, very busy. They spend night and day working. So the private life, it goes a bit on the side. Someone is very bad impacted, some others no. How was for you? I mean, how do you feel? Did you have a very bad impact on your private life? Completely be obscured?
So when I go into something new, I go full in. I don't care about anything, and I try to find a balance where I can. My private life has been extremely impacted by this journey. I basically had none, especially at the beginning. I mean, yes, it was the excitement and the learning and the discovery and the knowledge and everything, but I had days when I was spending 20 hours per day learning, doing something, going somewhere, having a it was Skype at the time, more of a hype than a Zoom. Yeah, has impacted my private life a lot. I tried to find a balance. At times was extremely difficult to find a balance. And I dedicated most of my time, I would say 90% of my time to this.
And because it's tough, you must find some kind of balance in your life. Otherwise, it can be very, very complicated. And do you have any routine? Normally, founders, they try to get some kind of routine that balance their life, give some guides. Do you have any?
Yes, and this is how I learned through the journey to find my own balance. So I was always passionate about reading, about meditation and sports, and how the things were with me the past years with my journey with Blink was extremely hectic. So I knew if I am not well, the company or my startup will not be well. I always wanted to enter into a specific sport. So I started with mixed martial arts. I'm doing this every day, sometimes 2 times a day, sometimes just five times a week, depends if I'm traveling or I have other commitments which requires me there. Yeah, I try on a Sunday to walk in the nature as much as I can, being completely offline. I have my schedule of when do I go to sleep, when do I wake up, but there are times when I have to travel or I have to be committed, like I have this milestone right now, and this needs to get done like in 3 months. I wake up much earlier, like at 4 a.m. or something. I do my sports first. I'm coming back and then I'm entering into my work stuff. And in the evening, I try to meditate, read, calm down, and have the same routine all over again, starting with the next day, continuing next day and the next day, and many, many, many days.
The balance is very good. I mean, not everyone is capable to find a balance. That's the reality. But especially when you do something new, you must add some anchor, something where you can find yourself. Instead of, because otherwise you will be misplaced. You don't know anywhere. You have no orientation. It's very complicated. Founders is navigating uncertainty, knowing absolutely nothing what's going to happen tomorrow, especially for you, because you approach something that was totally new at the very beginning. In Beer Founder, it's full phases. Every day is different day. Some days good, some days bad, and some days you feel be a god. Some days you say, you know what? Actually, I can't do this. I'm the worst unqualified
Yeah,
CEO founder. Do you have something similar in your mind some days?
a million of times. I think it happened to me that I wanted to give up many, many, many times. But somehow, the motivation, the drive that I have, the people that surrounded me, or karma or God, I don't know how to call it, something happened always that lifted me up. It was either myself inside or some impressive achievement, at least for myself, some impressive achievement, or something um, internal or external happened that lifted me up every single time when I was completely, yeah, I had very tough times, yes.
Do you surround yourself with the right people?
I would say that time is the most important commodity for me. I prefer to spend my time alone doing something productive or going somewhere productive or taking some advice on something or learning new skills than spending time with people. I have very few people in my circle that I surround myself with. I also live alone here in London. I'm not with family, and myself, I don't have a family here. I mean, in general. So I have like a handful of people I surround myself with, starting with professional life and personal life. My trainer as well, my MMA trainer, very important person in my life, one of my investors. So there are people either I can learn from, or we have a certain synergy, either professional or personal, in each other's lives, or we provide some value. Otherwise, I'm not interested to waste my time. Obviously, like every person, I always try to meet new people. And it's good to have a cup of coffee with somebody every 3 months or 4 months or in another country. But I would not say that I have too many friends or too many people in my circle on a day to day or weekly basis.
I mean, open the door to new people is good. But what you very much learn when you start going up and up, which means when days come and you understand that you really need the right people. You don't need too many. You need the right one, because too many is too much noisy. It
Yeah.
doesn't bring you anything. So open the door is very good, but you must be somehow select. What do you like to do the most in your day-to-day life? What is the part of your business today, or your life, or your pure day that you like, you really enjoy, except maybe martial art?
Well, that's if I'm completely honest, what I most enjoy is my trainings because I become very good at it very fast. I'm also building a brand simultaneously on social media on Instagram, short motivational videos, and with my trainings as well. So part of my time I dedicate to that as well, like a 5%, maybe 10% of my time. Yeah, I would say that this is what I enjoy the most.
Me, you must be full of motivation, otherwise you won't do what you're doing today. But you cannot be motivated every day. We are humans. So how do you keep your motivation going in a bad day?
I mean, if you are committed to something, okay, you have no choice. It's not like I feel motivated today, the weather is nice, or I have a lot of capital in my company, or I have the best people in the world working for me or with me. And when you don't have that at all times, it really depends on you. If you really stand for what you are building. So, if you really stand for what you are building for your journey as a founder, in my case with Blink, you don't have always the motivation. Like, I can give a million of examples when I was extremely upset or I had extremely too much work. I was working for 20 people in one single day at times. It was extremely, like, I just wanted to sleep 20 minutes. It was there were very tough times. And I did not have always the motivation. But like I said, if you are on a journey, on a quest, you don't need all the, you have to perform without the motivation. But in order not to get crazy, obviously you have to find like you said, an anchor, a place of yourself, some meditation, sleep 20 minutes, listen to some music, do something that you know get inside yourself in a way that you said, okay, I can continue, I can pull this through, I will manage. Self-talk, by the way, is extremely important for a founder. If you don't have self-talk and you don't believe that you can do it, and you are not standing for yourself, and you don't understand that there is nobody to rescue you in the bad times, or there is no way out sometimes. So if you have a good self-talk, it can, how do I say, it's just very important for you as a founder. You always have to have that, even in your worst times.
Self motivation and self awareness. They are probably the most important thing. If you're not aware who you are, there is no way. I mean, people can tell you whatever they want, but you are the only one who knows what you are capable of. So if Master tell you, okay, yeah, no idea, you don't have any background in blockchain and fintech, what do you want to do? But you can still have time to learn. And maybe your motivation is so big that will make you learn much faster than others. But again, this comes to you. Big-headed must be a founder. At the same time, you need to learn. And so for learning, you must listen a lot. There's always failure, always in life, at least my life and many life I've been talking with in terms of funders. And not only, there's always a part of your life where you failed and you learn from failure. So how do you deal with failure? Are you scared to fail with your startup or your life, for example?
First of all, I had to deal with failure all the time. I mean, we built tech, right? And now doing what we are doing, and we have our own token, and we started the development of the payment gateway, and hopefully I will have my own blockchain because that's my ultimate vision with Blink. But it was never like this. It was before, it was not like this. Like, you just the- you have to go through it, that you cannot jump. So in order to go, if you go through it, and you have to, because there is no other way, you have to fail a lot. If you want to build something great, yeah, to build a legacy, something that stands for the future. If you want to change the life of other people, you have to understand failure is normal, is part of it, a part of this journey. And if you are a tech entrepreneur or a fintech entrepreneur, oh my God, like I don't even remember how many MVPs I've been doing with other teams, with other co-founders. Oh my God, like part-time co-founders, because obviously they are not here anymore. So not really the right people. So sometimes I've been angry, I must admit, like upset, like angry, extremely disappointed, especially because myself as a person and as a professional, I'm extremely perfectionist when it comes to details and design. If that little thing doesn't look how it's supposed to look or doesn't do what it's supposed to do, we have to do it all over again. I cannot let the things just be, because otherwise I'm another tech company. With all the respect, there are a lot of great tech companies, but I would say I'm trying to build something unique here and not another, as I like to call it, like a summer hit kind of startup, because that's not my aim. I would not spend all this time, all these years for just something if I wouldn't want to build something very important. So I've been upset, I've been disappointed. We had to do it all over again. In my personal life, yeah, I fail all the time, or I'm just, it's a process. Everything as life is a process. You learn how to balance yourself, you know how to be better. You have to listen, like you said, you have to learn, you have to understand where you failed. Yeah, because if you fail and if you do it again, like Albert Einstein would say, that is the theory of insanity. You cannot do that. So you fail. Everybody does. Learn from it. Do it better next time. So that is the good part of failure. The short-term bad part of the failure is obviously when you feel that the world is crashing and you are extremely upset and you argue with your team and things are wrong and you don't know how to make it better, but you learn. If you want to really do it, you don't have any other choice.
That's correct. I mean, you must not be stopped by failure. That's the point. And failing is not that bad. Of course, avoiding total failure, huge failure that you cannot recover, that's a different story. But if you can fail and learn from failure, that's probably the best way to learn. Absolutely, there's no comparison. You're right. Doing the same mistake twice, it's a bit different. You have your working life. I understand that you work a lot. But when you do not work, what do you like to do? How do you spend your spare time?
My spare time, well, like I said earlier, I'm doing I would train more. I would do my trainings more. I would go in the nature more. I would meditate more. So it depends on how my mood is or what time of the day is. That's what I do. Obviously, I like to travel. I read new books. That's how I spend my time, my free time.
So you work into the tech industry, right? So today you deal with technology investors, maybe tech summit, and so on. So when you work into the tech ecosystem, the founders, investors, and everything from that side looks very, very promising. From the side, it looks so exciting, but from the inside, it's a different story. So, do you believe the tech community does enough to improve this world? And do you believe tech has the duty to do so?
So, first of all, I believe that the tech industry should pay more attention to the human being. And now, every year or every 2, 3 years, it's a new hype in this industry. So now we have another new hype, which is the AI. It has started by 1.5 years ago. I believe that the tech entrepreneurs should use and or build the tech to benefit, but not to replace the human being. Everybody in startup industry wants to raise a lot of capital and want to have a big exit, and because of that, sometimes they forget. Oh, It's AI. Let's take full advantage of it and let's destroy the humanity. Maybe it's a bit exaggerated from my side what I'm saying, but like you said, I'm an insider in the industry and I talk with people and I'm going here and I'm going there at that event. There's this new startup, especially in my industry, how they're using AI. It's too much. So I would say definitely that the tech industry is expanding. There are great, 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 great things happening as well. I believe in the future will benefit the society and the human being, but in the same time, um, would be nice if the tech entrepreneurs would pay a bit more attention to the details in order for this not to go in another direction. We don't want things to go in another direction.
So many founders they say, I want to be something great because I want to change the world and make the world a better place to live. But that's declaration, right? We know perfectly well declaration is something and acting that's another. But after many times, you see so many fraud in startup. I'm not going to name one by one because probably there are too many. A very big, big one, stealing billions, not even millions. So I believe the culture behind is still too much money, too much success, and also what sometimes disappoint me is when you go to this summit. Right now, we go to Web Summit, and after I'm just mentioned the biggest one is Lush, right? Everyone say everything is fine, but that's not true. So this stereotype that founders must be invincible sometimes just makes me laugh because nobody's. We try to create these superhumans when we talk in venture capital, but the reality is we are all humans, and we should talk a bit more about the others and not ourselves all the time. And yeah, I mean, I think it, the venture capital ecosystem needs a next step of evolution. It's still
Thanks for mentioning that, by the way.
is need. I've been talking to founders uncountable now, probably in thousands, and what I can see next week, we have a panel discussion on mental health. Founders, they do not admit that they struggle. They don't admit that if they talk to them, they will tell you everything is fine. Probably have 2 months of runway. Everything is okay. They don't make any money. Everything is fine. They don't find anyone. Now, you must look a bit positive, of course, but it must be at the same time realistic. If you're struggling, just say, oh, yes, I'm struggling. Actually, if you can help me, would be nice. But it's not going to happen. It's not happening at all. Although a bit is changing. If you can sit with world leaders, the very one who matters, so I can change things, although they don't. What will you ask them? What really annoys you that you can't stand and you really would like to be changed for good?
I don't know if this has to do with me as a person or what I am building at Blink, but I have a problem with the poverty. So I believe that the gap between the very wealthy and very poor people around the world is just getting bigger. So if I would have the chance to sit at the table with, let's say, world leaders, as you mentioned, I would propose to create an ecosystem that will solve this problem. Obviously, with the right laws, with the right legislations, but in a way that people that have nothing and they don't have the possibility to have something, not because they are lazy or because they don't want to. There are just people in countries they don't have water, and I'm not saying that many leaders are not doing improvements. They are doing a lot of improvements, but what I'm talking about, it's about an ecosystem, a worldwide ecosystem, okay, that would solve the problem of the needy, extremely needy people. Everyone should have something. I would not give a percentage in numbers, but if everyone, doesn't matter, extremely wealthy or middle class, or there are different structures in the pyramid, but if everyone we give something in that ecosystem, things could change dramatically around the world. So that would be that's where my, let's say, my biggest pain is. Like I said, I come from Romania. I've seen a lot of poverty in my life. I've traveled in many countries. I've been doing charities, donations, of course, small, but I'm trying to make a difference where I can, and every time I can. And what I saw, or what I heard, or what I hear, it's really terrible. So yeah, this would be that place where something should be done, but something not in a way that, let's do charities now, and but like an ecosystem where really every single human being on this planet can benefit of.
That would be a dream. Hope so. Hope it's going to happen one day.
Well, you ask me, I answer.
Absolutely. I mean, we need to dream. There is nothing to do. Are you concerned about climate change?
I would prefer not to comment on the topic.
Okay. So, what are the things that really touch you that you can fight for to the end?
Education for children, homelessness. These are the things that are most important for me. When I see hunger, when I see people sleeping on the streets, doesn't matter. Even here in UK, it's just getting worse. But what is happening, for example, in countries that are touched by war, or extremely poor countries such as Yemen, where children, I don't even want to go there in that area, but this is what touches me most, definitely. Education and poverty, like hunger. It's a huge problem.
Poverty is the biggest problem we have. I mean, nobody should live poverty. That's the reality. But anyway, it's so difficult to find some kind of balance. As you say, very little are rich, so many are poor, and someone is in between. So it's very unbalanced. The best book have you had already in your life?
That's a tough one because I've read and studied almost 2,000 books in the past, I would say, 8 years. So I have, depends on the topic and depends on, what matters for me at the moment. I have many, many, many books I'm extremely passionate about. But I would say that if I would have a number one, is Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss with Tal Raz.
And the best actor in movie?
The best author is definitely Anthony Robbins. Everybody knows Anthony Robbins. And in regards to movie, I've watched as well many movies, so I don't have like a number one favorite. It depends on my mood. It depends on what kind of aspect. But I would say Leonardo DiCaprio and The Wolf of Wall Street would be a good match for movie and actor.
I was watching 2 days ago. I mean, before going to sleep, just 5 minutes. He's an absolute actor because he can. This guy can do whatever he wants in terms of, yeah. It's absolutely great. It improves so much. Now, the best lesson that life gave to you.
So many lessons. I would say patience. Patience, when things were tough, where things were not going as they were supposed to go, where I ran out of capital, or when many, many, let's say, struggles and stones came into my way. Just the patience to overcome that and tell to yourself that things will get better, when I had no idea how things will get better, but just telling that to myself and being patient, but not sleeping. That's a difference. Being patient, but going through it, and do your best at all times. I think that is the biggest lesson, at least as an entrepreneur, that I've had.
I mean, be capable to wait. It's a kind of wisdom. So I remember when I was young, there is no way, not even a second. After you start living the life, okay, and you can live the life when you live the life. So I'm turning 51 in a month. Now I can tell you that I can easily wait months for something that I really want. But the point is, anytime I mentor founders, although I don't have so much time now, but I tell them the day when you really want to destroy yourself is the day when you decide to give up. Why? Because if you keep going, there is no way, unless you are completely wrong on your basic assumption of what you're doing, that you won't get there. So, for example, if you are funding, you don't get the fund the day when you say, okay, I stop raising money. But if you keep going, the day when someone will tell you at least, okay, let's sit and let me see what you're capable to do, will come. That's a matter only of time. Of course, as you said, you can't wait sleeping home. Nothing will happen for sure. But you need to be capable to push as much as you can and be capable to wait results that coming. But it's very difficult. It's very easy to talk in life. It's very difficult to put in action. But I mean, I'm sure you were not capable to wait or very little when you were young, but now you're much more because you become more experienced. You know what life means and how life works. And that's the point, right? What's your greatest wish for yourself, for the, let's say, for the world, generally talking?
For myself as an entrepreneur and what I'm building here at Blink, my greatest wish would be to find that partner, business partner, that has both the financial and the let's say vision capability to go this journey with me until the end, because it's very difficult to find. There are many investors, don't get me wrong, and again, I have a lot of respect for everyone, but really to find someone that not just has the capital but really understands, not that understands your vision, because if you're building something unique, nobody would ever will, this is the truth, but somebody to really believe in you and understanding what you are trying to change, what you are trying to do, what you are trying to achieve. So to find that person is quite difficult, especially because most of people in this industry have a certain background. And unfortunately, that background is either not good enough or is a background already brainwashed by what has been going on so far. So me, I'm searching for something different, for someone different. So that is my greatest wish as an entrepreneur. And as a person, I definitely would like to live in a world which is better, with more peace, with peace, and eradicate poverty.
That's a great wish. Let me close with recommendation. I really like to funders to tell something to the other funders, okay, based on your experience. So, what would you recommend to the funders watching this podcast today?
So, first of all, this journey as an entrepreneur is not for everyone. That is the first warning signal, I would say. You have to understand that this is going to be tough. Yeah. If you don't have the blood for it, don't do it. This is not like, there is this hype, we are raising millions and we have big exits, and there are these important people. In real life, does not work like that. Means if you really want to do that startup, you have that great idea and whatever you are trying to build, think first. Are you sure you want to do it? If the answer is yes, and you did think everything through, you have to do two things. The most important thing is to find your back. Never do this alone. Never. You have to have at least one co founder, better two co founders that obviously have the skills you don't have. That is number one. And number two, never quit your job until you either don't have good investors on board, or you don't make revenue, or your startup can sustain your life. That's it.
Thank you so much for coming to the Live of Founder. It's been an absolute pleasure for me.
Same
Thank you.
here. Thank you so much.